I'm not a big fan of breadcrumb navigation and have never actually used it in a client solution. With that said, there's always that solution waiting for you that will work perfectly with this navigation style. Just put this technique on your tool belt until it's needed. Let's start by showing you how to get this file. If you go to the databasepros.com website, click on the resources link, and come in here and type in just bread, you'll locate it and you can see there's a green arrow to download it. Simple as that. Now let's talk a little bit about this technique. The reason I don't like it is because it's really no different than a tab or a slide panel. The only redeeming attribute, for me that is familiarity. In other words, people might be comfortable with the interface because they've seen it on the web. And the interface is basically these little arrows here that tell you where you're going and where you've been. So there's nothing in this tab control, essentially, that's fields or portals or anything. It's up to you what you put in here, but the idea here is that you can easily get back to where you were. You can go through the whole process and go back to wherever you want. And the little arrows kind of tell you which direction to go, and it's kind of nifty, I get it. I kind of like the freeform ability of a tab control, and this really has the same freeform ability, but it seems like it doesn't. It seems like you have to go through it. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it offers anything other than what you can do with a slide or tab panel. In fact, it actually uses a tab panel. If we go into layout mode, I've done some little graphic trickery here, and you can see right here there's a rectangle around it. We'll undo that and put it back to where it was. And when we double click on this, you'll see it's just a tab control with the word the beginning, the middle, and the end inside of the tabs. And you can put as many tabs as you want, depending on how big it is. You can change all the attributes you want. But that's really all it is. It's just a tab control, just made to look a little bit different than a tab. You don't really see it because I've gone into attributes and I've taken off a lot of the different attributes, such as the lines and things like that, for the tabs and the tab controls, whether they're active. And it's really up to how you do this. I just want it to be nice and clean and not really look like a tab control. So that's what I did. I kind of prettied it up or changed the look of it. And then I put some buttons in here, and these are nothing fancy. They just simply go to the object. So you'll see on each one of these objects, if you're in the inspector, you'll see this one's called the beginning, this one's called the middle, and this one's called the end. So if I hit the previous button, you'll see it runs go to tab, that's a script, and takes you to the middle. If I'm on the middle and look at this previous button, it says the beginning. And this one will say the end. So I'm passing in this optional script parameter to a very simple script. Just go to object, get script parameter, so it goes to that particular object, which happens to be a tab or a pane on a tab control. So it's not much more complicated than that. That's all you've got here is just the ability to go back and forth, and it gives the user a sense of ease, like they know where they're at. But I don't find it really any different than a tab control because it's really the same thing. It's just these arrows are the big difference, really. So for me, to take all the extra time and work to make it look a little bit different and not like a tab control, it's just not worth it. But again, maybe you're doing a web direct solution and you really want this type of interface on it, or maybe somebody's asked for it, a client, they really like that interface. Then here's your opportunity to dress it up and make a tab control look like breadcrumb navigation.